When I was studying urban planning, Copenhagen was always highlighted as the city that perfected urban planning. From its likability to its emphasis on human scale, its constant experimentation with public spaces, Copenhagen was the example to follow. Deciding between Scandinavia or Italy, I chose the Scandinavian region to avoid the overcrowding of Italy during summer days. But after striking gold with some cheap beds in Copenhagen, I was excited to visit some uncharted territory. The only problem? Those beds were the exception.
I just paid $10 for an iced latte. I was not expecting it. On my Google Maps, trying to find the prices of iced lattes normally in Copenhagen, only to find that normally it's $10. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm good. How am I gonna survive like 5 days in this city if this is how much I'm gonna spend an iced latte? This is my introduction to Copenhagen. $10. How do people live here? How do people travel here? I gotta stop screaming. I'm not gonna eat out as much as I usually do in other cities. Lots of sandwiches. The only thing that I want to try that is Scandinavian, that is Danish, is smorgasbord. You know, the open face sandwiches. And that's it. We are going to be so conscious about our spending here because the prices of things is insane.
To give you guys a good idea of the price point of things in Copenhagen, I'm giving you guys a detailed list of my expenses during my entire trip. Hope you find this helpful and eye-opening.
Man, the vibes are so chill here.
I went to a bookstore, bought myself 2 books. Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin and another James Baldwin classic, Notes of a Native Son. So basically I was converting it on my currency converter and I saw that it was like $15. I was like, oh my god, 2 James Baldwin books for $15, amazing. I decided to buy it. Turns out I used the wrong currency. Instead of putting Danish kroner, I put Swedish kroner. Okay, so then I go back. I put the right currency in my currency converter, only to realize that I did not spend $15. I just spent $60. I just spent $60 on 2 tiny small books. Great moment reading my little book Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin, only for me to accidentally touch bird poop. Okay. What? I was having a moment. Okay, I was having a moment reading a beautiful book in Copenhagen. It was aesthetic, and now I just touched bird poop with my fingers. Bird poop was aesthetic. Wet dream. I've never seen people blonde the way that these blondes are blonding right now. They are blonding like no people has ever blonded before. It's like insane. Oh my god, no! Yo, this is precious commodity. I just literally spilled a bunch of couscous on the ground. This is not the time to be wasting. No, I literally have to eat everything that is... Stop it! Maybe I am overspending on coffee, but at the very least, it's a B. I give it to them. The restaurants here look amazing. Like the food looks so fresh and just so like delicious. It looks absolutely scrumptious and delicious. Copenhagen, why do you have to be a city that is so slay? They're served. But you know what is not a serve? What is not a slay? It's those freaking prices. The parks here, the public spaces, the buildings, the architecture. I just love like how uniform, minimal it is. There's such a thing as like Scandinavian minimalism, which I feel is really well represented in its architecture. Copenhagen, Denmark. Why do you have to be so expensive? Okay, your city. Copenhagen is such a beautiful city. I'm walking around and I'm loving it. But unfortunately, what I'm not loving is those freaking prices. Completely smudged. This is not a look. Currently right now I'm in a cafe that is so beautiful. It is literally covered with bookshelves filled with books. There's also like a section of like old books that you can actually buy for $2. What? Reasonably priced things in Copenhagen? Unbelievable. People here do not like me. I took a fat nap right here, and man, like the barista literally had to wake me up. He was like, no, you're not allowed to nap here. Luckily he did that like after 30 minutes, so I was able to have a really long nap that was like so fulfilling. And right now I feel rejuvenated. I'm like, yo, I can fucking conquer the world, bruv. Yo, Joe and Juice is like a cult over here. Okay, there's like a Joe and Juice in every street corner. Every single time you turn your head, there's a new Joe and Juice that pops up. Why? Like, I've been to a Joe and Juice. It's great, but not that like awesome. So I'm kind of conflicted about this adoration for Joe and Juice. Now they call me, mother. I'm so happy that my mom is not here, because if she was here, she would be commenting on my body every 5 seconds. The people here have a lean, fit. I'm just like, whoo, wow. Totally unfair.
Surrounded by model-less Copenhageners sunbathing, I sat there enjoying the sun's warm presence until I realized that I'd forgotten my sunscreen. So I walked along its harbor. I saw recent graduates with their sailor hats celebrating their entrance into adult life, tricking themselves into forgetting the end of their teenage years. Bikes filled up every passing bridge. Table bursted with people nibbling, trying all the cuisine offered in the street food clusters. Through that leisurely walk, the sun starting her descent, I understood why so many fell in love with the city. Copenhagen has a perfect grasp on the fundamental concept popularized by Jane Jacobs that people make cities. Not the street that separates its land, not the cars that drive on its streets. It's the people that walk on its sidewalk that drive those cars. It's not the buildings, it's the people eating at its restaurant, living in these apartment blocks that define this city. Copenhagen doesn't restrict its people into confined spaces. It lets them all out. It lets them sit around its building as the space in between them become mini spots. The city invites you to sit in the crowd, to soak up the sun, and join in on the people's laughter. In every city that I visit, there comes a time when my mind shifts from a simple visitor to a city's admirer. A moment where a city becomes the background of my future daydreams. In Paris, I had that moment when I was in Pont-Exemple looking upon the shimmering Eiffel Tower. In Vienna, it was a collective laugh of all the friends and families gathered around Charles Church's pond as a band was serenading covers in the background. In Copenhagen, it was a collection of milestones celebrated by people of all walks of life, alongside bystanders, enjoying the serenity of doing nothing. Suddenly, through my eyes, that harbor embodied a celebration of love, friendship, food, life, on this beautiful warm summer day in Copenhagen.
When we're out in a crowd, laughing loud and nobody knows why. When we're lost at a club, getting drunk, and you give me that smile. Going home in the back of a car and your hand touches mine. When we're done making love and you look up and give me those eyes, 'cause all of the small things that you do are what remind me why I felt for you. And when we're apart and I'm missing you, I'll close my eyes and all I see is you and the small things you do.
I cannot believe that I just spent this much money on this, and I'm so hungry right now. I'm still hungry. So I'm gonna go to the grocery store in front of my hostel and just get something there because like, I'm sorry, but that was not filling. I'm just like so disappointed. Here's the thing. You guys, you go to Copenhagen, you have to do your research, okay? Don't go. Guys, what the fuck is happening? Everyone's getting arrested. But like the people in Denmark and me, we're not compatible. We don't mesh well together. It's really sad because I met a girl in Sofia, Bulgaria that was from Copenhagen and she was so nice to me. So I was like, oh my god, like she's such a good representative of Danish people. So maybe all Danish people are going to be as warm and friendly as her. But no, they are not.
Park was the perfect setting to notice Copenhagen's infamous likability. With every step I took, 3 bikes would pass me by. People of all walks of life were biking in ways I had never seen before. Parents bringing their kids home in wagons attached to the front, girls biking their friend around who were too drunk to bike themselves, elderlies and whole families. There was a pleasantness to be found in everyone biking. While I do live in a city more walkable than other American cities, it is still car dependent. The further you are from the 2 main neighborhoods, the more car dependent it gets. You feel swallowed at times by the increasingly large vehicle that drive beside you. Space fragmented by these metal machines. But in Copenhagen, a peacefulness settled into me. The kinetic energy in big cities that usually come with cars was now replaced with bikes. A vibrancy, this time more humane and lively, pulsated through a street network.
Is really dirty, but it makes me look like I'm in a 70s European porno. So I don't know. Oh god, I'm starting to enjoy it. I just had to go to Med Cafe because very much for like cafe connoisseurs, I'm not. I just want my sweet iced coffee, and I wasn't getting that over there. For me, there's 2 types of cafes, okay? The type that gives you those granulated sugar for your coffee, and the one that actually puts simple syrup. If you have the simple syrup type of cafe, you have a gem. You have a gem in your hands, because I just like trust simple syrup cafes way more than the granulated ones. You know, I've been to a lot of cafes. I have high standards when it comes to the sugar used for my coffee, and simple syrup wins every single time.
Because like I feel like a loser now. If you have like long shifts, I think it's so easy.
This is so worth the hype. If you ever come to Copenhagen, go to this place for the Danish open sandwiches. The one I'm eating right now is phenomenal. Like, it is so worth the hype. Amazing. I cannot believe that sandwiches can be this good. This was eye-opening. This is definitely the best thing that I've eaten in this trip so far. In Copenhagen.
I spent 6 hours in that museum. What can I say? I love this museum. The museum does such a great job at getting visitors to be more attentive to all aspects of the design. The fabric of your clothes, the patterns of your beds, the handles of your teapot, the shape of your lamps, how it changes their effectiveness and use. But my favorite thing about the museum is its great collection of chairs. Because I love chairs. Since it does serve a function to make you sit, it limits the range of experimentation. And yet every single time I am flabbergasted with this perfect balance between function and design. Before the 20th century, most of the artistry came from the craftsmanship of each part of the chair, but then low-cost material gave way for more space to experiment. I came out from the Copenhagen Design Museum with a full heart as my visit ended with this tour de force piece of furniture.
Amazing was closed. I'm not too sure if it's closed. Right, if you heard about it.
And thus my time in Copenhagen ended with amazing food and a great group of girls. The vibe at the ref and street food is immaculate. You can taste cuisines from all over the world while people skate in the middle of the area. The surrounding water provides a touch of warmth to the atmosphere. I was happy to leave on such a high with girls that I got along splendidly. Despite such a delightful last day, I still didn't get to see everything that I wanted. I didn't get to visit the Copenhagen, the waste to energy plan endlessly talked about in urban planning classes. I did not have the time to visit Freetown Christiana, the hippie anarchist commune in the center of the city. I didn't get to window shop in Danish home decor stores and revel in its funkiness and kitschy vibes. There was still so much to see despite having seen so much. Luckily, that gives me a good excuse to come back to the city with hopefully cheaper prices, or actually more money.